Your host and guide, Marcus Murray. I've got to start with a simple question. How in the world did this happen? How did we allow people to turn us into a nation of victims? What in the world is going on right now? I want us to look at a couple of concepts today that I believe are going to be extremely valuable in procuring the future that we both desire, that we all desire in our lives. A future of greatness, a future of possibility, a future of accomplishment. There is nothing outside of the realm of human accomplishment if we could all just literally come together and learn how to work once more as teams. Somehow we've allowed today's culture to not just divide us and put us into separate camps and divisions of or groupings of isolation, but we have actually allowed them to identify areas about all of us that we should begrudge or things that we should regret, and they've taught us to live in those areas. Well, that's not, no, that's over. The purpose of these 365 days or 52 weeks of absolute transformation is so that we can break all of the bad habits that could possibly hold us back. Have you ever sat and thought about some of the things that you've gone through in your life and wondered, how in the world did you make it? How in the world did you survive it? Well, it was for a reason. And it was not so that we could constantly and forever re-litigate it, invigorate it, discuss it, and continue to just dig it up, dig it up, dig it up. That's not the purpose of it. The reason that we were allowed to overcome any and all the obstacles that we've overcome in the past is so that with that knowledge, we could impact the next generation. Remember, once we get to this age, with more years behind us than ahead of us, and that's why we have the hourglass there to always remind us that we have a mission that has to be accomplished. So I want you to think about it this way. If you've already lived 45 plus years or more, realistically, you may have another 40 to 50 years left. And if that's all you have, how do we actually want to spend it? We have to live according to principles. Now, in all of these episodes, we encourage each and every person that's running this race with us to journal, to take a moment, write down the things, the thoughts that come to mind, the aha moments, those things that inspire us. Do that. But beyond that, we also have to give back. We have to each identify someone that we care enough about that we're willing to make an investment in their future by sharing some of our triumphs, not necessarily the tragedies, but the triumphs. It's most important when we're telling people about the things that we've gone through in our lives that we don't focus on all the details, the horror of it all. We want to get to the triumph, the victory that came out of it, because everything happens for a reason. And what's interesting is God has a way of never wasting any of it. We had an opportunity earlier this week to hear from two separate individuals, both of them equally successful, but at the same time, both of them had faced some extreme hardship. If we go back and just dissect those stories, it should give us just a knowing that no matter what we've gone through, it wasn't that bad. Culture is teaching us if you've gone through anything, that has to become the core focus of your being. Every day, you should talk about the pain. You should think about the pain. You should think about why you experienced the pain, how painful the pain was. And they keep us reliving and relitigating the thing that has already happened. I believe that the greatest people that will move into the future, those of us that actually get it, are those that put that behind us and move forward in confidence, knowing that nothing is wasted as long as lessons were learned. Now, it would be a terrible waste to have gone through hardship, trial, tragedy, all of these things and learn nothing. So, in every experience, we have to take a moment and think about what was the lesson that I am supposed to learn from this, because there is always a lesson there. A person probably listening to this would say, well, no, there isn't a lesson in everything. Like, for example, when I came home and let's say the lights had been shut off. Well, there is a lesson. Maybe we should come up with a new system for paying bills. Well, maybe there couldn't be a lesson when I got the flat tire on the freeway. Well, maybe there is. If we really take time to think about it, could we have been more attentive? Could we have checked before we got on the freeway? Were we driving in the right area? Were we in the median, in that little area where there's always junk on the side of the road, like nails? We have to assess exactly what has happened, and we have to take initiative to identify the lesson that is to be learned. Whenever things consistently and repeatedly happen, it is typically because the lesson was not learned. Life has a funny way of allowing us to relive experiences again and again when the lessons have not been learned. Now, today I want to talk about an amazing author. And this gentleman, who I've mentioned before, has an incredible book. This is not a new book, it's an older book, but the principles are extremely powerful. And this one is going to be The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And this is by John Maxwell. As you know, John Maxwell is not just a spiritual leader, not just a pastor, but a renowned author and business coach. John Maxwell, in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, breaks down principles that literally could have a profound impact in this portion of your transformation. Why is it important? A lot of people that are on this journey with us have reached out to say, I'm really not certain what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. I really don't know what the future has in store for me. And I would say to you, if you've had that thought, like at 68 or 72, is there more? The answer is yes. If you look around, we're in a moment in time where the major movers and shakers, those that are leading us all around the globe, are older. It's just a fact. Why is that important? We should be encouraged by that. We shouldn't be discouraged by that. We should be encouraged. It should remind us that our work is not done. Remember, a moment back, we were in a previous episode talking about the future. We were referencing the book by Ken Dykewall called The Power Years. And we talked about a thing that he recommended in his book for the future. What he was recommending was the creation of something called elder groupings or silver solutions, which would be these organizations that would be comprised of individuals 65 years and older. Why? Because he explains in the book that once you've reached a level of maturity, you have a broad range of information. You actually have information that most people will never learn. With that information comes strategies. Within you, you actually have the solutions to problems that may be plaguing a particular industry, that may plague a particular type of company, and you actually have an answer for it. Maybe yours is a solution that applies to someone that's cooking, or maybe it's a solution to someone that works in the automotive industry, or someone that is, maybe it's a little hack, something that you figured out, a solution to a problem, and you've been using this solution for years and you've never even shared it, but it's something you do all the time. Maybe that idea is the idea that's going to generate future economic wealth for your family. Imagine if you're only just beginning. What if you knew you couldn't fail? What if you knew that you had been given an idea that had been placed in your mind to cause you to become wealthy? There's actually a scripture that says it is he that gives us the power to get wealth. It doesn't come from us, it comes from above. And what's amazing, what if you've been actually given an idea that just simply needs to be developed? Just as we know there are many people that were given ideas for movies, these unusual scripts, and they just started writing it out. And the next thing you know, this movie, someone buys the script, and voila, it becomes a bestseller, a blockbuster. That still happens. But do we believe that it can happen for us today? Well, in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, the number one law is the law of the lid. The reason the law of the lid is important is because we can only go as high as we believe. The Bible says, well, actually, in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the fact that we become what we think about. And that's why the Bible tells us to think on things that are good, things that are lovely, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. It's very important for us that each and every day we dedicate time to thinking about our future. And that allows us to live with intentionality. Living with intentionality basically means we're not going to be pulled here and there by the troubles and the turmoil of the day. We're not going to allow someone's crisis to become our emergency. What we're going to do when we're living with intentionality, we've got a plan. We know what we're doing throughout the day. And at the end of the day, we pull out our journal and we evaluate our day in writing in our journal. That way, we're able to look at the day and say, wow, I really made it happen today. Once we get to this point where there are more years behind us than ahead of us, we have to make the commitment to become lifelong learners. Transformation cannot take place simply listening. It really takes active engagement. Just like I'm reading more, I'm writing more, I'm spending more time doing more things, creating, you have to do the exact same thing. Have you ever wondered, is it true that readers are leaders? The answer is yes, because there's another quote that says, the mind of a man, once stretched by a new idea, can never return to its former dimension. Picking up new information is critical to our success. In order for us to actually become who we've been placed on the planet to become, we have to continue to fill our minds with positive, productive, constructive, building, edifying information. It's critical. What goes in must come out. So, junk in, junk out. Healthy, nourishing, encouraging, motivating, positive, inspiring, uplifting in, that's what's going to come out. They say that the human is more like a sponge than a book. The way that the human works is once you squeeze that human, tight circumstances, difficult things, trials, tribulation, just a little squeezing, whatever is inside of the human comes out. Sometimes you hear people say, pardon my French, and they're not speaking French. They're speaking with profanity. There is no French there, but what's in there is what's coming out. So I'm going to challenge everybody this particular episode that we identify whatever it is that we know has been placed inside of us. If we can't think of it, a strategy that we're going to use is brainstorming. What you're going to do is take a piece of paper and you're simply going to write, and you're just going to write one word sentences of all the, or I'm sorry, one word statements. So they don't have to be full sentences, just things that are coming to your mind. Just keep writing ideas, just write and try and fill up a whole page with the words that come to your mind. And empty that page, go to the next page. You reread the words and then write the thoughts that are associated with those words. And now you do sentences all the way to the end of the page. And then you get to the third page and just write down the ideas that come to your mind. They may not come as readily as the words or the sentences, but they will come. And each time you have an idea, write it down. And this is the thought process. What if nothing was impossible? What if writing it down would ensure that you were going to achieve it? Write it down. This is critical. It seems mundane and it can even seem a little childish, but brainstorming is a concept that businesses use all around the world. It's an opportunity to just kind of dump a lot of information from a lot of different sources all in one place and pull out what's good. That's how they do it, brainstorming. So I'm going to encourage each and every person that's listening during this episode, you're going to get the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. You'll start with law number 1, the law of the lid, and you will read about it and you'll understand that just as in business, he's talking about business, just as in business, that's the way our lives work. So our life can only be as great as the lid that's in our mind, the law of the lid. So, how do we elevate the lid? We add more information into our minds, things that edify us, things that build us up, things that encourage us, things that motivate us, things that inspire us. You have a destiny to be reached. Your work is not done. And I would challenge you the whole concept of retirement. I believe we may find out in the future that that itself was a joke. Why retire when there's still more impact to be made? Have you ever thought that we'll get an opportunity to rest throughout eternity? Why rest now? Now there's work to be done. There's a generation to be impacted. There are children that are waiting on the input that only we can give. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode and remind you that over the next 41 weeks, we will be diving very deeply into simple concepts, simple truths that will assist us in our journey of transformation. And now I'll thank our sponsor, Care Michigan. Care Michigan is a Michigan based company located in the city of Troy that specializes in medical case management and care coordination of individuals that have been severely injured in motor vehicle accidents. So, if you or anyone you know has been severely injured in a motor vehicle accident, would you have them call Care Michigan at 833 696 2626 or visit them at their website, which is www.caremichigan.com. Without any further ado, I'll say that it has been a pleasure. We have a lot of work to be done. We have to now go and let's make it happen. Let's seize the day. Take care for now, and I'll see you on the next episode.